so is that a jerky? No, it's not a jerky. Jerky is sweet. Jerky is usually not on the healthier side. It's a meat, but it's not really on the healthier side of things because it's cooked, it's processed, and it's full of marinated sugar.
You are listening to The Dr. Haley Show, the podcast dedicated to helping you optimize your health. Each episode, there will be an interview or a message to help you discover better health. We will be featuring health radicals on the show to bring new ideas to the table, as well as doubling down on key fundamentals to support you living your best life. Your host is no other than the founder of Haley Nutrition, Dr. Michael Haley.
The Dr. Haley Show podcast. I'm Dr. Michael Haley, show host, and today, Jon Engelson, he's a holistic health coach who founded You Are What You Eat Incorporated, but he's currently the Chief Strategic Officer at Joburg Air-Dried Grass-Fed Steak Snacks. Today, we're also joined by Jon's business partner and founder of Joburg, Yuda Holzverg. You got to learn how to read better.
Yeah, well, yeah, you look at me and you could see the success of Big John here by him going, "You are what you eat." Look at me.
Yeah, only in this case, we're going to be talking about something different. Instead of you are what you eat, we're going to be talking about you are what they ate.
Mm. Oh,
right?
They eat grass so you don't have to, right?
That's it. Exactly. Exactly. So today's topic, we spilled the beans already. We're going to be talking about beef steak snacks, which is one of my favorites.
Nice.
In fact, I got to tell you guys a little story. It was years ago, and I used to make my own dried beef snacks. And we were heading to, me and a bunch of other men, we were searching out a place to have a men's retreat at, a Christian group, looking for a good place. And, we're going to hit the road on Florida and drive all around the state. And we had a few stops on the way. So I thought, let me make some, beef snacks for the crew and stuff.
Tell me about it.
It's going to be a long day. So, I'm going to make
about it.
Yeah, I was going to make just a whole bunch. And I did. I made massive amounts. Opened it up at probably an hour drive into it, and no one could stop eating. And
Nice.
It was gone like that because it's perfect food and you just crave it and you can't stop. I don't know. Have you ever had that experience?
Well, I did. Yeah.
How'd you get into this business, dried beef snacks?
Oh, you how many hours you got?
One.
Dude, come on, you're quicker than that. He's the quickest guy I know.
All right. Let's okay. I myself actually I'm really funny enough. I'm a technology guy. I've been in technology my whole life. I love technology. I've been doing computers since I'm like 15, and run with my family business for 30 years, running a technology business. And then I had about 20, I'm going to say about 28 years ago, I had to see, somehow I got into some like healthy, all of a sudden I was aware, somebody made me aware that you're breathing dust mites. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, they taste pretty good. I'm like, okay. And you start becoming aware. So little by little, you start like, okay, awareness. And then you forget about it for a while. And then I had my first child. My first child was choking on a Winky. And I decided I had to learn how to mitigate these situations without waiting for help, which may never come. And I became an EMT. And I volunteered for about 15 years. And about 3 years into my volunteering, I remember walking out of a call and I met somebody outside who's like a spiritual guidance to me a little bit. And he just happened to be there. And of course, there's no such thing as happen. Everything is divine. But he was there and I tell him, I say, man, I wish I'm able to help a little more than just be there for moral support. And he goes, you can. there's something called energy healing. So I said, great, where do I buy the wand? Literally, I'm like, where do you buy that Harry Potter wand? I was like,
They're attached to the end of your arms here.
yeah, exactly. He's like, they're in your hands. I'm like, really? So anyway, he guided me to a book or two, whatever, and I went into it full force. And at this point right now, I'm doing energy healing for about almost 20 years. And it's been a phenomenal trip. I've helped so many people. I love it. I do different forms of energy healing, testing, understanding people's issues, why they have these issues, stuff they're eating.
And it's
And
crazy too, right? I mean, the more you do it, the more it's like, you put your hands on someone and you know so much about them just from touching them. I'm a chiropractor, so I've
there
been
you go. So you know
hands-on.
exactly.
Yeah.
I've taken away from people allergies. I'm talking about lethal allergies, sesame, nuts, you name it. I've taken away from people where I had one kid in my house, my son brought over and he tells me, he says, Dad, could you bring just meat? This kid only eats meat. I'm like, okay, sure. And this was during COVID. And then after like 2-3 days of keep on buying meat, I look at this kid and I go, what's up with you and meat? And he goes, oh, I have this bread allergy. I cannot eat bread, otherwise I'm literally dead in the hospital. So I said, you mind if I try something? Sure, go for it. So I did literally like a 5-minute session on him while standing in the kitchen. And I go, okay, I'm getting you can eat bread tomorrow, but cautious, please be cautious. And he's like, okay. Next day I went to work and I come back, guy's gone. I look at my son, I go, is he dead? He says, no, he left. He's fine. Okay. Anyway, I didn't see him. A few months later, I bump into him in the street and I go, so whatever happened? Did you have bread? He goes, oh, yeah, I ate your whole loaf on top of your fridge. And I go, and nothing happened? He goes, no, I've been fine. And he's been eating bread ever since. I was like, okay, go ahead.
Well, I'm just thinking bread's an interesting topic too, because a lot of people think that, bread's like the devil with the gluten and all that. And I don't think cows should be fed wheat because that's not their natural diet. But Jesus said, I am the bread of life. And I don't think he would have said that if it was something that was going to kill you.
Correct. Bread is life.
The challenge is that the bread that we have today is not the bread of our forefathers. And the wheat that is grown today is totally different. So it's mainly
highly processed,
highly depleted of its. I agree with you 1,000% because, first of all, so I mean, just to jump in real quick, like I've seen incredible healing from people going to carnivore / keto carnivore and reversing metabolic illness. Now, having said that, it's a very, very, very difficult road to stay on, in my opinion. So
correct, John. That's how you like. It's all coming back to the same thing of like why when we were kids there was not one kid in school allergic to peanut butter.
We had that. They didn't. By the way, the gluten allergies didn't exist when we grew
butter
up.
And jelly sandwiches.
Of course.
And today you got everybody. So it's the same thing with the wheat. It's what they do to the wheat.
Well, I used to grind my own grain and make my own bread, and certain wheats were stickier than others. And you preferred that as a baker because it made a better dough. It made a better pizza dough if that's what you were making. It didn't crumble. So if I was getting it from the field, I would go back to that particular field. And if I could, over the years, find stickier and stickier, that's what I would go for because it makes a better dough. And that's obviously what happened. And with, breeding and changing, we found the highest gluten wheat we could possibly get. And that's what we have now.
Correct.
So, yeah.
I want to know about those wheats that you found. You still do it? You still go?
Well, no, I'm saying that's what they did over the years on all the generations. But myself, I would buy certain, like white winter wheat that was very, very sticky. Kamut was great, not as sticky, but it was a good one, and when you were making breads, that's just kind of what you favored. There were certain that were more. In fact, we would even add gluten to it.
Right.
So it's like, so
Now,
you're a baker as well.
well, no, I dabbled in it, and I don't. Now that I've learned how many people are having problems with gluten, I'm shying away from the high gluten. I'd never add gluten to it, and I'll use whatever wheat kernels are
One second,
available.
I'd like to add something. I make probably an amazing sourdough. I
Oh
make
yeah,
every week. I
sourdough's
make
the best.
sourdoughs. John has tried it. He's like, this is amazing. I will say, I have a few family members that have Crohn's. They cannot touch bread, but they have my sourdough, and they're like, it's perfect.
Yeah,
So
there's
there's
something
something of
about
the
that,
natural process. It's something of the
right?
natural process. The yeast, the unnatural yeast that we use, that's also an issue. It's the natural process yeast of fermentation, which is also, it's the natural. When you leave things natural, you're allowing nature to do its course,
Yeah,
which we're going to
yeah.
continue on in this podcast. It's exactly what we're talking about is, we're going to go with natural.
Right now, some of my following's probably rolling over in their graves because they've already died from what they've heard. So let me clear a few things up. Let me clear a few things up because I eat bread and I don't have a problem with gluten. I could probably snort a line of gluten without sneezing, and I joke when I say that, of course. But my family, Italian, that's what we grew up on. So we grew up on meat and pastas
Pasta.
and breads and. So my body does very, very well with those things, but not everyone does. In fact, a lot of my following came originally because they had a serious health challenge, and they probably avoided all kinds of inflammatory foods, and they probably avoided meats because meat is kind of a growth food. And if you have a tumor, for instance, you don't necessarily want to encourage growth. Plants are medicine and they're detoxifying and cleansing. And people probably would lean in that direction for the medicinal benefits of the food as they are getting well. So, an anti cancer diet might emphasize the medicine of plant foods. It doesn't mean that's the healthiest diet on the planet. If you think of a survival of the fittest, you're going to want growth and strength, and animal foods is probably going to be included in that diet plan. If you're a lineman in the NFL, you're probably going to eat meat. Probably. Could you do it without it? Maybe, but it'd probably be a little more challenging. So as we're talking about these things today, and people are saying, what? Dr. Haley does what? He eats what? Yeah, I eat an optimal diet for me. I eat a clean diet, and it includes animal foods, which we're going to be talking about starting right now.
But
We're
doctor,
game.
you just described my mantra. When I give a seminar, what I've been sort of preaching for many years is two words when it comes to health, nutrition, and well-being, and those two words are what works. And I use them very strongly because I've been in this industry and around the medical world. All my family were doctors. My father was a professor of medicine. My mother, unfortunately, had multiple sclerosis growing up. So I saw a lot of things happening. I was pre-med at UCSD. And I ended up going a certain path where after I had personally some health issues in my mid 20s that the best Beverly Hills doctors made major mistakes on, I started to research many different areas of health and nutrition. And I've been on that path for many years. And what I found is that if you get stuck and pigeonholed in a particular corner, the people only eat meat, the people only eat vegetarian, the people homeopathy, the homeopathists don't like the herbal people. The herbal people don't like the homeopathists. Nobody likes the vitamin people, and I went in with this open mind to all of them, and I found benefits to a certain extent greater than others in all of the areas of healing. And so I leave that on the table. So I appreciate what you just said. And,
Oh, thank you.
I think it's very important to understand what a person can tolerate themselves, what their palate can tolerate, and how it will affect and help their insides, of course.
Yeah, I agree with you. When it comes to plant foods, the nutrients, the phytonutrients, when they're in the plant, we call them phytonutrients. But if the animal eats those phytonutrients, the exact same nutrient now is a zoonutrient from the animal kingdom.
You enjoying the show thus far? One of the many health secrets that we have covered on the show is all around aloe vera, specifically drinking raw aloe vera. Our aloe vera has helped our customers effectively heal their gut, increase their intestine health, lower inflammation in the body, eliminate and/or decrease acid reflux, have glowing skin and hair, and so much more. Now, as a frequent member of our audience, you will be exposed to exclusive specials and coupon codes for the awesome products manufactured by Haley Nutrition. That's right, for simply being awesome and tuning in. You can get a mini discount to help you optimize and better your health. To see how we can help and support you on your health journey, tune into the episodes and listen for coupon codes that you can use at www.haleynutrition.com before you make your orders of raw aloe vera. Once again, it's www.haleynutrition.com. Now, back to the show.
Tell me what you know of either one of you. I'll leave it to you guys to decide. Grass-fed beef. Tell me about the grass-fed and out in the pasture and what that means.
So very simple. Again, it comes back to a natural environment versus a consumer economics-driven environment. And unfortunately, and just to preface it, if you wouldn't mind, with a couple of philosophical points. And I'm a very, very big fan of the free market system, the capitalist system. It's an incredible system. But where it's very flawed is in two places. One is in the medical world, and one is in the food and you want to call the industrial food complex world. Why? Because if you're healthy, God willing, there's no money for the medical world, zero. So it's based on, and it can't function. So if there were simple cures, which there are for many things, that come from what you just said, phytonutrients, plants, other things, there's no patent on that. There's no laboratory on that. There's no billion-dollar industry on that, number one. The same thing in the food business. Companies like Kellogg's and Frito-Lay and Conagra and all these huge companies, the only way they can make more money, which is how they have to survive, is to cheapen their product. So how do they cheapen their product? Is they replace their product with cheaper ingredients, which are more refined ingredients, which include now all these things like dextrose and maltodextrin and yeast extract and all these things that become addicting to the consumer and cheaper, of course, for them to make. And therefore they can't make more money by getting a more expensive product and putting better ingredients, unfortunately. So those two areas is where we have flaws. So that I'm speaking at started with the macro. And now we can go into the micro in different areas we just spoke about what's happened to the breads and that how, wheat was at one point an extremely healthy ingredient and with the chaff and had great nutrients and has now been processed down to produce more and less quality. So that all of a sudden these illnesses have popped up, which nobody's ever heard of year after year. So the same thing is similar in the meat industry, that cows never ate anything but grass. That's how you saw a cow in the field, that was grass. That's what they feed on. And in actuality, and this is something fascinating too, grass-fed, and this is one of the issues because grass-fed cows are leaner than grain-fed, which of course, so that farmer, again, here's the money issue coming back again. So the grain-fed plumps them up because grains, unfortunately, the way they're given in such quantities, you think, people say, whole grains, but they turn into actual weight gain for a lot of cows, obviously, and a lot of human beings as well. Because people thought that the burger, for somehow the meat got the bad rap, but it was really the bun and all the other stuff. And that if somebody ate like a grass-fed piece of meat with a side of asparagus, they're having a really healthy meal, and it's not all the other junk that came along with it. So the grass-fed meats now have something called CLA, which is one of the highest forms of how should we put it? It's called linoleic omega-6s, and they're anti-inflammatory when it comes into for a human being. Omega-3s and omega-6. Omega-3s really are the omega-3 fatty acids also are increased in grass-fed meat as well,
right,
and all the other ingredients. So what's would be called anti-inflammatory and actually
Big John.
the negative things. So that's just a little summary of what we're talking about, grass-fed instead of grain-fed. So the grains today, which are so compromised, are now being fed to the animals, which are compromising them. So we've tried to come back in full circle to bring back the natural habitats of the animals, and in their natural habitat, they're more healthy, therefore their food is more healthy.
Yeah, I've noticed in grass-fed milk, for instance, it has more color and flavor than not grass-fed. So obviously we're getting that from nutrients, anti-cancer, anti-inflammatory nutrients. I like Jordan Rubin used to talk about this, and he said that we want to look at three things. He would look at three things when it came to what to eat. For him, as a Messianic Jew, it was important that it was a biblical food, which beef is. Pork is not.
Right.
But he also say, well, traditionally, is it a traditional food? Well, yes, traditionally, the cows were out in the field eating grass.
Right.
So that was an important fact. And then the third component that he would combine with that is the scientific, which was everything that you just said. Higher omega-3s, anti-inflammatory, and even anti-cancer, compared to your conventional CAFO.
Right.
CAFO is the what's the C? Animal feed operation.
Yes.
Concentrated animal feed operation. I forget.
I think it's constant.
But where these cows are essentially eating through a hole in the fence.
Doctor, would you say that eating grass is healthy?
Well, I can't process it, but the cows can process it for me, and I can get the nutrients from eating them.
So now, I want to talk about grass for a second.
Yeah.
I did years ago. I actually did. I went on this, you remember the fad with the juicing?
Sure.
Yeah. So I did the juicing for a month. I did 30 days of juicing. It was incredible. I had grass every single day, juiced grass. And I took it like a religious, took it every day, and I used to shake it over about a half hour. And I'm so glad the cows enjoy this.
Well, was it the wheatgrass, not the wheatgrass, yes. Right? Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Oh man, that stuff was so nasty.
Yeah,
you would
a lot of people are actually combining it with our aloe. I'm in the aloe vera business, and they put the two together, which is kind of like the grass is a little on the sweet side, the aloe's a little bit on the bitter side, and there's like a beautiful blend between the two, like a lemonade.
Well, I got you
for what it's worth.
Sounds delicious.
I got your new tagline for you. Should grass is greener on this side.
There you go. The grass is greener on this side. When it's greener when you let the cows eat it for you.
Exactly.
1 second. I got something green for you. Should I give it to you?
What you got?
I got this product that we make. We'll talk about it soon. But I want to give it to you. I'm also trying this new technology. I'm trying this new technology because, as I said, I was in technology for a lot of years. We're doing a remote viewing right now. I want to see if I somehow embed all this technology together, if I can actually transfer you what I'm holding in my hand right
I'm
now.
high tech. I'm high tech too. I think.
You
We
ready?
can
I'm
pull
going to give
this
it
off.
to you. Okay. I'm ready. I'm going to give it
Please.
to you
Yeah. Thank
through
you.
the camera. There
Let's
you
see.
go. Got it? Oh, wow.
It worked. It
Wow.
worked. That's
Wow.
Worked.
Unbelievable.
that's quite a feat there. Soft and tender, pasture-raised, grass-fed steak slices, and traditional. I guess that's the flavor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing.
It went through with all the words. Like it didn't miss anything on the way.
Well, yeah. So I'm guessing this is as a traditional. I'm guessing that means like a plain without all the spice. I'm guessing.
Simple.
No, it actually has the original formula. Traditional means it's the traditional formula with before you add other spices like the other flavors that we have, which is the crusted pepper and spicy peri. Those are added on top of the traditional.
Okay. Yeah, the spicy peri, Peri, I think it was, right? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
Yes.
what peri is, but I had some. It's got some kick. I like it.
Yeah, just a little bit of kick. It creeps up on you. This one I'm not going because I think my computer will blow up if I try to transfer it to you.
I'm
So,
going to agree with you on that.
yeah, so, and the spicy, it's going to give the computer a kick. That creeps up on it.
Well, you know what I like about that one though? It causes you to drink water. It causes you to hydrate, and I kind of like that. You know, it's one of those things, and it's more satisfying. Here's the really cool thing about it, and I think this is why people should actually have products like this. Beef is,
Yes,
I'll
one.
say it, it's a superfood. Beef is a superfood. It's got all of your amino acid, your essential amino acids. It will sustain you, and you don't get the high that you get when you eat a bunch of sugar where you crash after that, which is an interesting point because I don't know if you've noticed, you're not the only player in the industry of dried meat products, and some
I
of
thought
them
we were.
have sugar in them, which I don't understand. Who would want sugar in their meat? Have you seen that?
That's like a paradox.
You know, I was at a convention. It was actually a Weston A. Price conference, and there were Amish there, and they had all of their products, and I absolutely loved their meat sticks. But they were a little sweet, but they were very, very satisfying. And I'm like, is there sugar in this? And the farmer said, yeah. I said, why would you put sugar in your meat? He said, well, that's what the people want. That's not what this guy wants. I think that is absolutely nuts. And I did not see that on your label. You don't have any sugar in any of these, right?
No.
Zero sugar, zero carbs.
Yeah.
And
I actually am happy. Yeah, I'm happy you brought that up. It's a very interesting topic because it's like the internal debate. I like the topic because it's an internal thing. You know, business versus people, health versus necessity. Okay, which way? What's important? Do you go with what people want because that's what people want? Yes, we all gonna agree to the same thing. People go, oh, so is that a jerky? No, it's not a jerky. Jerky is sweet. Jerky is usually not on the healthier side. It's a meat, but it's not really on the healthier side of things because it's cooked, it's processed, and it's full of marinated sugar. And look at all the ingredients in there. You know, there are some people that make a nice jerky. There is a nice jerky out there, but you're going to pay top dollar for that one. Okay.
I like that you're saying that because I was going to ask you about the terminology. I was going to ask you if this was a beef jerky. And you're saying no.
No, what you know what? Maybe if you go back to Texas 200 years ago, that was the original jerky until somebody took it and made it into a sweet, and then we had to go away from it and say, no, we're not a jerky anymore. They hijacked it. We're just a steak snack. What is steak snack? Steak snack is it's when you see the process, it's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah.
You take it, there's nothing there. The thing never goes above 75 degrees. It's air dried. The whole process is allowed to naturally dry the product.
Now,
And
75 degrees is a lot cooler than I would have imagined.
Correct.
That's literally, I mean, I think you can go up to like 110 and they still consider it raw.
Correct. And that's why I'm saying 75. is because we don't go above it. It's literally the most natural process, even though in the original process in Texas, where the desert went up to 110 degrees, and that's kind of where it was drying out there, but it was also wasn't as edible. And in order to give it the tenderness and give it the most natural feel, to as close as a tender piece of steak as possible, there's a very fine line with USDA guidelines, health guidelines, natural, and this is where we play and figure it out. It took us multiple years to achieve that perfection, to
And
achieve
it
where
is
it's
tender and
healthy.
soft. Yeah.
Yes.
And
And go ahead, John.
no, I was going to just revert back to Dr. Michael, your thought on sugar, because I think that's a very important point today, and the addiction that is starting with the young people at a very young age. I talk about many times sugar is really the enemy, and it's not like when we grew up as kids, and we got to get to the ice cream store once a month, or something like that. It's just daily, constant, in between meals that people from a young age are becoming addicted to sugar. And this is causing a lot of all the inflammation and the metabolically unhealthy markers in people all over the place. So what we're trying to do is sort of reverse it with something with zero sugar, but something that some people we have to replace with something. People want us; they want something.
Hold on 1 second, John.
Yeah.
It's like I was just going to ask that question as we were going before. And I'm like, you know what? Wait, let's talk about sugar versus sweet. That's a good way of approaching it. How many people out there want to know? Tell me the difference between sugar versus sweet. Is sweet bad or is sugar bad?
So
Yeah, there's actually some very healthy sweeteners that are anti-cancer. Stevia is actually anti-cancer. It's more like a tea leaf full of phytonutrients in the raw.
But it doesn't taste that good.
It doesn't taste that good. It doesn't taste as good. Well, honey's a biblical food.
What about allulose? Question.
What was it?
Allulose.
I don't know what allulose is.
Okay, then it may not be that good.
allulose is a natural sugar that's derived from a particular plant also. That, again, there's the perfect world, there's the less than perfect world, there's the real world. It's going to be pretty much impossible for people to kick all sugar. But listen, the bottom line is, if you're going to, for breakfast, for instance, instead of having a glass of processed, pasteurized orange juice that's really sugar water, have an orange that has the sweetness but has fiber, has nutrients, it's not altered. So
and it gives you a satisfaction.
Yeah, you better yourself. There's certain fruit.
And you also cut your sugar content because you only had 1 instead of 8.
Correct. And when you process everything that's processed, in other words, when you take an orange or you take any type of a grape and you crush it, it becomes hyper sweetened. So the sugar content shoots up. So it's always better in its original form. And you have many fruits and biblical fruits, like a date, that is very, very sweet, but yet it has a low glycemic index, relatively speaking. Yes. And therefore, it doesn't spike people's sugar, and it has nutrients galore. So, it's just finding a certain range of foods that are actually going to be healthful for, how about olives as a fruit? And they have, it's the best of the best. And they're,
sure,
no sugar. Avocado is a fruit, and like very little sugar.
Big John, I want to get back to talking about the process, which we ADD'd right into something else.
No, I wanted to, because you brought it up, and I think it's important for your audience, because I think that's a very, very big topic. So
that is true. I couldn't agree with you more. Okay. So going back to the process, so we went and kind of stuck to that product versus people.
Yeah.
Product versus people. It is versus people because the people, when you go into the store, people are looking for something that tastes good versus something that's healthy. The people that are looking for something healthy are what, 3% of the people that come to the store.
But our taste
So,
buds are different.
yeah, correct. But you're only 3 to 5% of the people that come to the grocery. So, how do you make a product that's both healthy and happy for the people as well?
Well,
And
I'm guessing you found a way to do it.
yeah, so we get people that taste it and they go, "Oh wow,
Yeah.
wow, we did not expect that. We did not expect it." You kind of get the steak slice. By the way, I want to tell you, you know, you're looking at a bag that has in it. How much does your bag have? Look at your bag. What does the bag have?
Well, it's a 2-ounce bag,
2 ounce bag. Do you
but
know
I'm
what it
guessing it
takes?
took a lot more beef to make 2 ounces.
Yeah, if I
Uh,
tell you that it was a 6 ounce steak
yeah.
that was pretty much condensed into that 2 ounce
Right.
bag. It's
Yeah.
pretty wild.
Which is why this is like a standalone meal. You know, people that I can't stand when people, their excuse is, well, I'm on the road and I don't have time for anything else. So they run through, the fast food drive through and get whatever crap they can just to satisfy that. Man, open up a bag of this
Oh,
and
I
eat
get it
this.
all the time, actually. I actually get people sending me pictures saying, like, you saved me. I was on the plane. I had nothing to eat. Thank you. You saved my life. I'm like, that's so nice. You know, it's like,
It's perfect food. You can exist on this.
I
Don't
could
need
have
anything.
one bag and I'm good. I'm good for the next 5 hours.
Are you enjoying this podcast? Did you subscribe? If you're watching this on YouTube, let me know what you think about it in the comments. Throughout the month of May 2025, get $10 off your purchase of $100 or more at HaleyNutrition.com. The coupon code is podcast10. That's PODCAST10. You can use this coupon with on sale and already discounted bundled items. Enjoy the rest of the show. Hey, what's your favorite flavors? Both of you.
Yeah, I'm the heat.
Me,
I love the heat. I'm a hot guy.
Yeah.
As you can tell, look how hot I am.
and I'm yeah.
You are
I
what
mean,
you
I'm
eat.
I'm the traditional guy.
Okay.
I personally like the traditional. So, and we have a
He
couple
looks
new
traditional.
flavors coming out very soon.
Oh, what are you doing?
Yeah, so this has been a internal struggle, I'll call it, because it's again product versus people, grocery versus our audience that we're talking to with you, and to try and find the blend that works is very hard. So we're sticking to our guns of keeping things as clean label as possible. Like we want to add. I just had this discussion with Big John saying, a lot of products have soy sauce in it. Soy
Yeah.
sauce is, so he's like, you could use organic soy sauce and then you're fine. And I'm working with my spice people. If I could tell them that we could use organic soy sauce, that could help in creating some really good flavors out there, because a lot of flavors have that. That's going to be a game changer. So we keep on looking at how to find the clean label ability and creating yet a product that everybody can appreciate. And the cost goes up. Yes, the cost of production, which everybody is scared in the commercial industry. They're like, oh my God, the cost goes up. You have a better product. You're catering to people. What are you catering to? Because everyone is so scared of everybody's schlepping, every distributor and the stores, and everybody's got to make their margins and everybody's got to make, and then your cost goes up. You're losing money at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So,
Organic soy sauce was the only ingredient I used when I made that batch for the road trip,
mm-hmm.
and it came out delicious. Now, you know what I didn't know though, and I actually went to the butcher and asked them. I didn't know what cut to use, so I went with his recommendation and had him slice it for me, which took a big load off. And not that they'll do that for anyone, but
He did it for you.
he did it for me. I don't think if anyone thinks, hey, I'm going to try what Dr. Haley did, and you go to your grocery store and ask the butcher to slice up thin because you're making beef jerky, it might not work. You might not get what you want, but you might. But I didn't know what cut to use, and I don't know what, I know there's different cuts of steak. I'm guessing we're not eating ribeye.
Well, it's a good steak. It's a leaner steak. I do know I've gotten this request from keto people who want fat. And so we're looking into making another version that's a fat-based product. So it's going to have that, it says extra fat on it. But this is a lean. This is as lean. We actually cut off the fat. This is as lean as this product can get. So
Gotcha.
our yield goes from a 6-ounce steak, and that's the 6 ounce is even after we took off the fat and all the trimmings off of it to make it a perfect hanging product that it looks phenomenal.
Yeah. And you're getting the satisfaction of when you eat a bag. Now, a bag says 2 servings on it, but you're getting the satisfaction of eating 6 ounces of meat. That's one thing I noticed. It's like I feel satisfied. Even the crazy thing is, a bag is 160 calories. And
Correct.
it's a bit too satisfying for 160 calories. There's something about meat that satisfies.
Well, I would just grab that for a quick second. Dr. Robert Lustig, I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's a professor in San Francisco. He's got a lot of books, et cetera, et cetera. So he wrote, "A calorie is not a calorie." And we were taught calorie in, calorie out. And he and many other people took that and really tore it apart. And the proof is very simple. You could have 160 calories of Coca-Cola or 160 calories of Joburg steak snack and see how you're going to feel 2 hours later.
Yeah.
And I challenge anybody to have that. And therefore, one, you're going to get like this immediate, like crazy rush. And then you're going to have this crazy letdown where you're going to probably pass out to be tired. And the other, you can have sustained energy for literally hours after that. So it's very important. And this is something, and again, your show and others are clarifying what, truth on eating and how to eat and what to eat. And that however we were taught and to debunk some of these arguments that just really fall by the wayside. And then calorie is not a calorie. If you have 1,000 calories of really healthful foods, that is not the same as 1,000 calories of unhealthful foods and foods that could make you overweight and obese and cause inflammation and other things. So I just want to point that out to you. And that's why.
One second, you saying I can't live on 1,000 calories of chocolate a day?
Chocolate is a
that would mess me up. That would ruin me.
Oh no,
There's
like
no way I
really
can do it.
good milk chocolate. It's like
Oh,
you
boy.
could, we could, thank God the human being is so resilient and has so many, what we do to ourselves. You could live on it. The question is how. It's not about. It's also we're getting into quality. Michael, we talked about the energy you have from eating something healthy in the afternoon, and not the insulin rush, which gives you this spike of energy and then the letdown later on. So I think that's very important. And so a calorie, it's not calories in, it's calories out. It's what calories come in, and this is what energy will come out of you.
Yeah. I'm curious what you guys have learned about the dry beef industry that people wouldn't know about. And I'm going to give you an example, what I'm looking for here. We sell raw aloe vera. And by having this very unique process for our customers, where we're not filtering and we're not pasteurizing, we're not adding preservatives, I've studied what's being done to the other products. For instance, there are products that are being pasteurized. I didn't know this until I went and visited the factories and recorded and watched everything. I didn't know that when they pasteurize, they take that liquid and they hot fill it into plastic bags that line the drums or the IBC containers. Now they'll sell that to other brands that will buy it in bulk. It's already been 170 degrees inside plastic, and they'll take that out and they'll pour it into glass jars to sell it as if it's never been in plastic. But it was in plastic at 170 degrees. I'll say that's one of the dirty secrets of the industries that I learned about juice products. Have you found anything like that in the beef products, beef snack products?
So one of the things that's been a discussion, and I'm glad, I mean, we got carried away with talking about amazing stuff. One of the things is, let's talk about nitrates, celery salt, which people talk about as the nitrate alternative. Nitrates is, I mean, I don't have to say much. I think everyone knows it's exactly what nitrates and nitrates are. But it's something that's been used in meat in order to somehow preserve it. It's somehow to maintain it, to give it what it needs in order to give it the shelf life. There are other alternative natural ways. The same way fruits, how are fruits preserved? You have a beautiful apple, beautiful orange, beautiful lemon, every fruit you could think of. Somehow the fruit stays fresh inside of its beautiful peel. How's that? Why doesn't it go bad? It's got this, I think it's riboflavin. It's got a certain mineral in there that actually preserves and maintains its freshness inside of the fruit. And that is exactly what we're using to do for our meat moving forward on like salami products and stuff like that that need a what otherwise would use a nitrate. So we would be using that natural type product in order to stay away from nitrates and stay away from those products that are so unhealthy and literally scare people into, oh my God, you use nitrates? Yeah, it tastes good, but it's got nitrates. So we're going to have a more delicious, and have all the charcuterie that you're thinking of and looking for, yet without nitrates.
Interesting. And I noticed that this bag says, for instance, April 3rd, 2026, where we're in, well, that's about a year. You're getting probably about a 1 year shelf life. How'd you guys determine that?
So we actually did it. We did tests on a 1 year shelf life that we've already done. In reality is it can actually go to 2 years as a shelf life. The key to that is just keeping it natural, because there is no preservatives inside, zero. If God forbid that you take a pinhole, the slightest gauge needle, a tiny bit, just poke a little hole somewhere, anywhere in the bag, that's enough for the oxygen to get in. And as soon as the oxygen get in, that product will go moldy within 12 hours.
Oh. Wow.
Literally. That's because right now,
refrigerate after opening.
yeah, exactly. It retards in time. It's like conserving it in time in what it is by taking out the oxygen. We flush the oxygen out of it to freeze it in time. It's literally what it does. It freezes it in time. So if you could keep it in a normal temperature place for a year, 2 years, you wouldn't know the difference, because it's preserved by the lack thereof of oxygen, which actually creates the growth of microbias and all that. So what you did is you just freezed it in time.
All right.
I think that's a good way of explaining it, I think.
Yeah, and if anyone's holding on to this for 2 years, why'd you buy it to begin with?
Oh, they're waiting for Armageddon for the day.
Yeah. Well, I'm a bit of a prepper, so I understand that. And, quite frankly, if you have something with a 1 year shelf life, that's pretty good. You just keep it on a good rotation.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Exactly. Keep on buying new ones so you have a new the new
New
cycle.
Year's.
Keep on eating. Yes. Keep on
hey,
eating.
Happy New
when
Year.
Buy a case a month. Oh wait, what would you recommend, doctor? Anyone that's listening to you think at least a bag a day? Eat one bag a day?
it would certainly be a healthy option. You certainly can. I mean, it's interesting you ask that question because people will do juice fasts for a week. I wonder what would happen if you did a beef fast for a week.
I
You'd
did.
probably lose a ton of weight,
I did.
I'm guessing. Yeah.
I did it. There's actually a big supermarket here locally. He says, "Would you do it?" I said, "Sure." You'll put me on. He put me on his Instagram for a week. I lost in 1 week 12 pounds
Yeah.
while eating protein, pure protein. Oh, but I did cheat because I didn't realize, and I was eating chia seeds with water and lemon.
Okay.
So I had pure lemon and some chia seeds just to kind of give me that water. It has that jello-y feel. So it was like kind of, so I was eating alternate. I was not all day. I was drinking the chia seed water and eating these bags. Um, these bags, should I give it to you again?
You're going to give me another one.
Yes. Should I give you
You're
another one?
generous today.
Then I should have two.
One
Yuda.
second. You know what? Here. Let's see if we can do that again. We'll try that. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's see what we got here. Okay.
There you go. I
Yes.
took a little delay. It went through with a little delay there.
So now I got
technology
this
slowed
one
down.
over here and this one over here.
There you go.
Oh boy. Okay. Somebody call Penn and Teller.
Yeah, exactly. We just we can actually show them how to do it in real time.
Yes, yes. The Hard Rock Hotel can hire us right away over down there in Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale. That's the guitar shaped building.
Yes.
No, that's
All
in
right.
Hollywood. That's Hollywood.
But it
Oh,
is
that
in Hollywood. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hollywood. Yes.
But you can see it from Fort Lauderdale.
Yes, you can,
Yes.
especially the light shining up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a cool building. Which it's interesting when you come in on the and you're landing in Fort Lauderdale. Typically, you're coming from the west, and as you look out the window, I think that's why they positioned it on a 45-degree angle. I think they're thinking of everyone that's flying into Fort Lauderdale. They're going to see that out their window. It's funny because
Yeah,
it's
it's good marketing.
not kind of
There's-
squared off with the north, south, east, and west like most of the buildings in the area. So.
It actually looks pretty small from a distance when you get there. That building is huge. It's
Yeah.
huge. That
It is.
Planet
Huge.
Hollywood over there.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So going back to that, you just said if somebody went on such a thing on what did you call it? A fast? A meat fast?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did it for I think for a week or for 10 days. I lost 10 to 12 pounds in that week.
It makes
And
sense.
that was fantastic. It was great. It's hard to sustain for a month simply because your body just tells you, says, "You want cake." It's like,
Oh, my body would never say that.
my body still tells it to me.
No, and for me, I made this cake. Don't you want some? We still have meat here. I'd rather eat the meat. No.
Oh, well, actually, talk about product. So me and John were sitting in product testing, and I actually made a cake that's a keto cake. It's got literally zero fat. So basically, in one loaf of cake, there's 78 grams of protein and 12 carbs in the whole cake.
Interesting. What
It
was
was just good.
sweetener?
It did
The
last
sweetener,
a while.
any sweetener, you can use stevia, you can use anything. Don't matter. So we're actually going to do this, and we're thinking of putting it on, being that we're catering kind of like to keto and to some of the healthy audience. We might as well make some cake for them too. So you can have your cake and eat it too.
Joburg meats and cakes.
There you go. And put
You're
your
gonna need a new
cilantro
domain.
top.
What is your domain name? It's Joburg Meats, right? .com.
Yeah.
Yes. Joburgmeats.com. Yes.
All right, people are gonna have
Oh.
to check that out. I'll have a link to it below the video.
Yes, I said yes.
Oh, John, do you want to talk about the trail mix that we're doing?
Ooh, we'll keep people on their time. We're working on a grainless mix that's going to have some meat slices in it as well. So it's going to be very, very unique. We're finalizing some of the formulas, but we've got a lot of, thankfully, innovative people at the company, and working on, just unique things that will satisfy and be helpful for the consumer to come. And they
You
can
know,
count on,
once I would say
organic.
it this way: get onto our website, put your email in, sign up for the newsletter, so you're the first one to know as soon as those products come out. Right?
There you go.
What
There you
was
go.
the website again, Doctor? Remember?
JoburgMeats.com. Oh, and for the people that are going to go check out your dried beef steak slices, and John, you said your favorite was the traditional, and you like the heat.
Spicy. I'm a hot guy.
What's the most popular?
The traditional is definitely the most popular.
All right.
Yeah. But then the crusted pepper, sorry, it's like we left it out as the little, the little poor child sitting on the side. This one here is the purple bag, is the pepper crusted. It's like a steak with like that you added like the coarse pepper on it. That's what that
And
is.
I like that a lot too.
Yeah.
We're just going to have to get the variety packs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
But it's like,
exactly.
John, did you get to hook up Dr. Haley with a code or a discount for his audience?
Of course. Yes, of
For
course. He
people
has
going to your website that want to make a purchase, if they use a code, what's that code?
We have a special code for you, Doc.
DRMIKE15
Yes,
gets
for
them, I'm
your audience.
guessing, 15% off their purchase.
Correct. Yes.
Nice.
Right.
Okay,
Definitely.
so we did do it. I was like throwing a guess out there. I'm like, did you?
No. We prepped. And you go to joburgspeaks.com, put in Dr. Mike 15% off, and we'll take care of you.
Nice.
And you're gonna enjoy it.
And you get to get all the emails and newsletters of all the new products that come out.
Correct.
I like it. What did we leave out? Is there anything I should have asked?
Gosh, I think we went through the gamut. I mean, it was amazing.
We covered it. All right, people,
yeah.
go get some healthy beef snacks.
Yes.
No, we thank you. I salute you for what you're doing, Doctor, and that you continue to grow yourself and your podcast and your business. And I do want to say this field and being on a lot of podcasts and being with people, like we've met some amazing people. And today we met another one, fine person as yourself, Doctor. So it's been great.
Well, Jon and Yuda, thank you very much for joining me today and teaching us about beef. And people, go get some.
Yeah, let's just tell everyone, just don't forget, if you're going to the gym, if you're a person who goes to the gym, you're looking to eat healthy, you're looking for something alternative, or you're traveling and you're going and you're not sure, and all of a sudden you're going to be stuck saying, oh man, I need that burger, going to the fast food because I'm starving. You can always have a few bags in your pack wherever you go. They weigh nothing. They literally they take up no weight, and you have a full meal with you wherever you go. I promise you, you will be satisfied. And if not, you come and get me. I'll give you my. Come and get me. You're still hungry.
So, are you guys in stores?
Good question. We're in all the kosher stores right now. So if you have a kosher store near you, you could definitely get it there. We have not figured out. I mean, we're only a year out in the market, a year and a half that we launched. So we started off with the comfortable market. So we start out with the kosher, and we're working now on some bigger chains, but I can't talk about it because there's no point.
Direct to consumer, like me, my customers, they order and I ship directly to their homes, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah, exactly.
So it works. It works. Good for you. God bless you, man. Thank you for joining me.
God bless you. Thank you. God bless you
very much. This was a lot of fun. I loved it.
A lot of fun. Enjoyed. All the best.
I hope you enjoyed that episode today on The Dr. Haley Show. Make sure to hit subscribe on whichever platform you are listening to this. If this episode made you think of someone, go ahead, take a screenshot, and share this exact episode with them. You can catch the show notes for this episode on www.drhaley.com. If you want to geek out with Dr. Michael Haley on other radical health topics, be sure to check out his YouTube channel, where he posts exclusive video content. All the details are at www.drhaley.com, and we can't wait to hang out with you on the next episode.